we've covered a lot of the majors and minors for learning AI at the undergrad level. There are other options, and we'll talk about those here. They're not the main way to go unless you're going to super specialize, which is up to you. But we will run through them. We'll talk about pros and cons, how they fit in briefly. So, number one is going to be linguistics. This is great if you're going to focus on natural language processing. Otherwise, it's a little bit less useful. Take a course or two if you want to. It's great for a generalist. It actually puts you deeper into NLP than a lot of NLP programmers because you'll understand the linguistic side of things. But in and of itself, it's not the most useful idea. Now, next option is child studies. This is a subdiscipline typically within psychology. It's great for the developmental psychology side of things. If it's an option, if it's a minor, that might be great to go with your psychology major or with a cognitive science major. In and of itself, it's not all that useful, unfortunately, because it still focuses on the human, and there are very few AIs that are being built from the ground up, going from basically no knowledge up into human level thinking. There are some programs for that, not many, and almost none in the business world. So next option, electrical engineering or computer hardware, which might be a better balance. This is great if you're going to go into robotics. I love robotics. I wish it was a major in and of itself. It is, I suppose, in a few minor areas. That's it. But computer hardware is is a great option. So it's part electrical engineering and it's part computer science. So you have the programming, and you can actually build the robot. Mechanical engineering would be another way through there. Pure electrical engineering is great. You still learn how to program a bit. You can still do a computer science minor, but it's deeper into the hardware of a robot. So next option is going to be majoring in business. Some people are very business focused. A lot of people I've seen on LinkedIn are, what can you do with AI for your business? I like the field itself. Businesses, depends on the business, depends on their mission, what they're doing. Some are great, some are not. But it is an option to major in business and have a minor in computer science where you have concentration in AI. Okay, so there you go with that. Individualized studies is kind of an outlier. This is where you build your own major. You can build your own AI major basically, and it's kind of looked down upon because it's not a pure discipline that people recognize. It can lead to overfitting for your education, and it may or may not work for you depending on where you go. This is where you work with an advisor. You select certain courses, make sure that you have the prereqs, you meet all the requirements. So you have maybe 60 credits, which is almost half of what you need to graduate, depending on how your university does it. And this can be great, but it's going to lead you basically to a cognitive science major almost, maybe a few more maths courses and stats courses, linguistics course, but you can do all this without doing this. You can have a traditional major or minor. It's an option. It may or may not be the best option for you. It depends. Do you want to look at AI from a policy standpoint? International relations. There are a lot of movements from many countries on regulating AI. So having a minor in computer science and a major in international relations could lead you into this direction. It depends. It's it's interesting. It's important, and I have no idea where it's going to go from here. Law degree. Law is becoming more and more important with AI because we don't know how we're going to regulate it. If an AI kills someone, who's to blame? The AI or the programmer specifically, or the company, or what? We really don't know because we haven't really gone into this yet. It will go through the courts in the next 10 to 20 years, especially with self-driving cars and autonomous drones, and now we have autonomous weaponry being used by various militaries in the, all over the world, or at least being developed or looked at. And that's going to be interesting. Neuroscience is an option. It is a little bit too deep on the human side of things and does not touch on the artificial at all. So it's lopsided in the opposite way from computer science. If you do both computer science and neuroscience, it's hard to bring them together. It's more like this than it is like this. Cognitive science is a better match than neuroscience, though neuroscience can still be very interesting, especially if you are going into neural implants. Then you want to know more about the neuroscience side of things. It's an option. It may be right for you. In general, it probably will not be. And that's basically it for various majors. You can look at individual courses. I mentioned taking a linguistics course. It's great. You can take an electrical engineering course or two to be able to start into robotics. Maybe there's a course on learning how to use the Arduino or Raspberry Pi to get you started, or do some online courses for that one. Take a business course or two if you do plan on going to work for a corporation. Can't go wrong with that. Or take a neuroscience course if you can. Some have too many prerequisites, unfortunately. Take a couple stats classes, take a couple math courses. You have a lot of options. You don't need to have everything in a major or minor. A lot of things will double and triple count. Contact me. I will gladly work with you on this. I love doing this. I love planning out someone's education. I have a workbook for you already on my website, and you have a lot of options when it comes to AI because it's so interdisciplinary, so many different ways you can go, and try something new. See where it takes you. Have a backup plan just in case, but be different. Don't be just another person who took this online certification, which is worth the digital piece of paper that's not printed on, and stand out.